A very good morning to all the students. So I hope all of you are preparing for your upcoming examinations. The dates of course have not been finalized yet, but you still need to be prepared, and this is the best time that you can indulge and read as much as you can. And along with that, I would like to congratulate all of you for performing so nicely for your Google Classroom e-house tests. I'm proud of all of you, for everybody who has participated and submitted their tests on time, and your results are great. So congratulations, a big pat on your back, and you have made me proud. Now today's lecture is in a continuation of the BA final year syllabus. So today's lecture is in continuation with what we have done earlier, that is all the short answer questions, part 1. So for the moment we are going to leave the character sketches and we are going to focus our attention on the other short answer questions that can be extracted. So for the moment I want all of you to open page number 155 in your textbooks. There is not going to be any particular sequence, so you need to be with me and find out the questions. Along with that, I would also want to mention that I'm going to add a few short questions that you need to study, which are not mentioned in your textbooks. So keep a pen and paper with you, that will help. Now the first question that we are going to discuss is, who are Salarino and Solanio? And the answer to this question is going to be a combined answer. So I'm going to reframe the question, and the question is, who are the other friends of Antonio else than Bassanio? So now the other friends are Salarino, Solanio, Gratiano, and Lorenzo. So now it is a group of 6 friends, that is Salarino, Solanio, Gratiano, Lorenzo, and Bassanio and Antonio. Now they share a very deep bond of friendship. All the friends are concerned for Antonio's sadness. Now all the 6 friends are introduced in Act 1, Scene 1, wherein they are trying to understand why is Antonio sad and what is the reason for his sadness. So now the answer to the question is, there are 6 friends, a close-knit group, and all of them are always ready to serve each other, help each other. Gratiano, Salarino, and Solanio help Lorenzo elope Jessica. Salarino, Solanio, Gratiano help Antonio find out what is the reason for the sadness. So this is a group of friends who love each other immensely. So now the other question is, who is Nerissa and what role does she play in the play The Merchant of the Venice? So now the answer to this is, Nerissa is Portia's maid, and she is a special kind of a maid. She is her waiting maid. Along with being Portia's maid, she is a companion, constant companion of Portia. She helps Portia lift up her spirits when she is sad that she is going to marry the person according to her father's wishes. She asks Portia about the suitors who have gathered at their house, and she also accompanies Portia to Venice when they go to the court to save Antonio from Shylock's clutches. So we can say that Nerissa is a constant companion of Portia, and she helps Portia many a times being her companion. Now the question is, what is Portia's father's will about her marriage? Now the answer to this question is that before dying, now when the play opens, that is in Act 1, Scene 2, Belmont is the setting. Portia is shown as the heiress of Belmont, and her father has recently passed away. Now before dying, he devised a scheme of casket choosing, and the will of a father was that anybody who would choose the right casket will be allowed to marry Portia. Now the caskets were of gold, silver, and lead. Who is Prince of Morocco? So now the Prince of Morocco is one of the suitors who comes to Belmont in the wishes that he wants to win Portia's hand. He thinks that his princely position, his power and strength surely makes him deserving for Portia's hands. That's the reason that he chooses the golden casket. Now you also need to remember that when he is choosing the caskets, the main attention that he focuses is on the gold and the silver casket, and he completely rejects the lead casket, calling it a base metal, and that Portia's picture does not deserve to be in a lead casket, and he chooses the golden casket, which is the wrong casket. You also need to remember that what comes out of that casket, a picture of a rotting skull, and even it comes also with a scroll in which it is mentioned that all that glitters is not gold. You have often heard that told. So the answer to the question is that Prince of Morocco is one of the suitors who comes to Belmont. Now, Bache, before moving forward with the other questions, I would want to give you a brief revision on what was mentioned on all the three caskets. So the gold casket had an inscription written, "He who chooses me will get what many men desire." What many men desire. The silver casket had an inscription, "He who chooses me will get what he deserves." So deserves. Now the third and the final casket, that is the lead casket, had an inscription, "He who chooses me must risk and give all what he has." So the third casket, that is the lead casket, has a warning more than an inscription. It has a warning. Now moving forward, we will solve the other questions. So, Bache, now the question is, who is Prince of Argon? And I'm going to compile it with the other question, which casket does he choose? So, I'm going to reframe the question, who is Prince of Argon and which casket does he choose? Now, Prince of Argon is the second suitor who comes after the Prince of Morocco to win Portia's hand. He comes from Spain. Now, like Prince of Morocco, when he is choosing the caskets, he completely rejects the lead casket because of the inscription that "He who chooses me must give and risk all what he has." So the Prince of Argon announces that he is not going to give and risk anything for the base metal like lead, and he chooses the silver casket, which has an inscription, "He who chooses me will get what he deserves," because he has an idea that he's princely, he is powerful. That's the reason he deserves Portia. Therefore he chooses the silver casket, which is also the wrong casket, and he has to go from Belmont. Now the question is, why does Portia and Nerissa appear in the court under the guise of a male lawyer? Now the answer to this question is, the play was written in about 16th century, and the women of 16th century were not allowed to visit courtrooms. So it was restricted for them to visit courtrooms. The reason Portia, dons the guise of a male lawyer, and she goes there to protect her husband's dear friend. So now the last question for today is, what was there in the caskets? Now we have already discussed this, but still I will answer the question. Now there are three caskets devised by Portia's father, one of lead, gold and silver. All the three caskets contain an inscription written on them, and the gold casket contains the inscription, "He who chooses me will get what many men desire." The silver casket has an instruction, "He who chooses me will get what he deserves." And the final and the last casket, that is the lead casket, has an inscription, or you can call a warning, "He who chooses me must give and risk all that he has." Now the golden casket comprises a picture of a rotting skull, which is chosen by the Prince of Morocco. The silver casket comprises of a picture of an idiot, which is chosen by the Prince of Argon. And the final casket, the lead casket, comprises of Portia's beautiful picture, which is chosen by Bassanio. So I hope you are covering all the short answer questions. In the coming lectures, we are going to discuss even more detailed study of the short answer questions from the play. For today, your homework, or a question that I would want all of you to answer through comment box or in the WhatsApp is, how does Bassanio convince Antonio for the second time to lend him the money? Of course, we know that Antonio is always there and ready to help Bassanio, but still he gives an analogy to convince Antonio that he is going to give his previous as well as the loan that he is going to take now from Antonio. So best of luck for your preparations, and see you next time. Thank you.